does allow me to actually shorten my welcoming address quite substantially, which I cannot tell you how pleased I am to do. So firstly, thank you very, very much for coming to Framework. It's a full house. There's a lot of familiar faces here, which is great because they'll lead the way with what the Framework experience is. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony Reid. I'm the creator of Framework. And I was actually going to talk about why there would be, if my thing works. See, it does. My speech was entitled There Will Be Cake, and there is actually a whole reason for that. But what I'll do is during the course of the day, I'll talk to you about what my thoughts are on where the industry is going and the like. But for now, I think what I'll do is just explain to, especially the uninitiated, so what Framework is and what the philosophy is. Framework was born of my favourite quote. It's for everyone that knows me, it's on my Skype, it's on my Facebook page when Facebook was still actually user-friendly and I understood how to use it. It's on my website. It's credited to Sir Isaac Newton, and it reads, "If I have seen a little farther than others, it is because I sit on the shoulders of giants." I'm not suggesting that I've seen farther than others, but I have stood on the shoulders of giants who do so on a regular basis. A lot of them are actually in this room today. I'll point some of them out, if you'll forgive me. Tony Lay over there, Iron Monkey Studios, amazing business acumen. Walk out of every meeting I have with him, full of hope, my imagination sparked. I don't know where he is, Trent. I can't see you guys anymore because somebody turned off the lights. Trent Custis from Taurus. Yeah. Every time I speak to the guy, there he is. Every time I speak to the guy, I'm just blown away by the ideas that come out of his head. Tony Parks, where is he?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Talk to that guy. I don't think a single day has gone by in recent probably months that I haven't leaned on Tony's experience. Amelia King, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, which reminds me, any of you that have applications into the Digital Media Fund, today's the day. Film vet meeting and deciding who gets the cash and who walks away poor. Amelia grounds me, and she gives me some amazing advice every time I call her with my head full of ideas. And finally, Martin Liebowitz, right here from Storm Effects. He's the best mentor 3 beers and a packet of chips can get. Whenever I talk to the guy, honestly, he really is a sound advisor. The point I'm making is that that's what Framework is. Framework is about networking. It's about talking to the industry peers. It's about this game community that we have. It's about all of us coming together in a forum like this to discuss stuff. What Framework is not a spoon-feeding exercise. Our speakers are tasked with coming up here and giving their thoughts and opinions and insights in and of the industry and what they do every day. This includes how their companies operate, what they think of the market, or just talk about their respective industries. It's up to you to tailor your Framework experience. It's up to you to ask questions of the speakers. It's up to you to really get inside their heads and understand what it is that motivates, drives, or inspires them. This is not an occasion for shyness. That's not what Framework is. There's a very good chance that during the talk, if you want to know something, if you have a question, the person sitting next to you probably has exactly the same question. It probably should be considered more a race to see who can ask the question first. There is question time at the end. Oh, hello. You don't have to wait for that. That's not what Framework is. So I'll probably ask the Framework veterans to lead the way a bit. I mean, Trent, Briggsy, where are you? There you go. Briggsy, Blake.
Yep.
Heath. There you go, mate. There you go, Heath. You guys were incredible at the last Framework for getting the ball rolling. And to be honest, I'd ask you to do the same again. Just a word of warning, and this applies to the people who attended the first Framework. I will be moderating this one because we went way long at the first Framework, so I'll be toning it down a bit. I also made a request at the last Framework that during the breaks, and I know this can be a little bit inconvenient, during the breaks, when you come back in, swap seats, swap tables, meet new people, talk to different people. That's part of what Framework is. It's something that requires a bit of thought, I know, but it actually worked really, really well last time. And I'm going to stop now because we are a bit pressed for time. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very, very much for coming. And I'm going to get this thing started. Now, I actually don't need notes to introduce this next guy because he has had such a massive influence on my gaming experiences. I started working with Interplay back in a some things, and I'm not showing my age because I'm young and fresh and beautiful. But what Chris gave me, also let me step back. I started working in Interplay. It was in 1997, and at the time, he and I had a mutual friend. I didn't realise this, in Chris Card, who was a PR manager for Interplay. And Chris Avellone's name came up all the time as a guy I should know, a guy I should talk to. And then we had just shipped Fallout, and Fallout 2 was on the way. Black Isle Studios had been formed. Icewind Dale was in the works. We were working on Baldur's Gate. And finally, I met this guy and got an insight into who he was, how his head operated. I started reading his stories. I started, played his games, obviously. And everything changed for me when that happened. So when I started formulating framework and looking at who I would isolate, the designers I'd isolate, the writers I would isolate, Chris was the very first person I called and said, mate, how would you feel about this? Chris was also the very first person that said, yes, I'm coming, I'm in. He is an icon in our industry. He's written some of the greatest games ever released. Planescape Torment is probably one of the best stories we've ever seen in game. And based on that, really, it's Chris's experience and my friendship with Chris that has guided me and driven me in the games industry. So rather than me wax lyrical now, let me introduce, from Obsidian Entertainment, Mr. Chris Avellone.
I'm also responsible for the technical difficulties which delayed framework, so I also have that to take responsibility for as well, so I apologize for that. My presentation today is script to screen to scream, and I'll explain what that means in a bit. But first off, I wanted to start with a thank you for having me here in Australia. I really appreciate Tony inviting me all the way from Orange County. It's a welcome break from working on Alpha Protocol, which we've been crunching on for the past few months. Some of the subjects I'm going to be dealing with today are concern how we get theme, story, and characters into our games at Obsidian Entertainment, and also how we got them into games at Black Isle Studios. And a lot of it revolved around a great deal of paper pre-production work before we actually instituted the pipelines for actually getting those elements into the game. And I'll try and show you concrete examples of that here in a bit. We go from pretty much some of the things I'm going to show you today are some of the casting sheets that we do for characters in terms of nailing down their personalities. I'm also going to try and show you some of the templates and the formats that we use for bringing this dialogue and scripts into the game. I'm going to show you the various tracking and reactivity functionality that we use to try and make sure that all our role-playing games are actually reacting to the character choices that you make in the game, and also with your character creation background. And then a lot of the exportation process and tracking and sort of the nuts and bolts of actually how to get that script into the hands of localization and other developers around the world. And ultimately, I'm also going to show you what the end final product of all these labors is. And I've got quite a few samples from Alpha Protocol and from some previous games that we've done, including Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2. So I just want to give you a little bit of background first. I used to work at Black Isle Studios for many, many years, and like Tony, I'm not going to say exactly how long ago that was, as that's going to date me, and then I'm going to have a whole spray of mummy dust coming out of my mouth from the Methuselah potion. I did a lot of work on Fallout 2, worked on a lot of Dungeons & Dragons games. I would pretty much also translate that as I worked on a crap load of Dungeons & Dragons games. Descent to Undermountain, I was lead designer on Planescape Torment. I also worked on just about every title in the Icewind Dale series. And I also worked with Snowblind Studios with Baldur's